About a year has passed since the Battle of Gods, wherein Goku unlocked an entirely new realm of power, that of the Super Saiyan God. However, his eternal rival Vegeta was not too far behind, utilizing the incredible power of Super Saiyan 4 to keep up with all of these gods. Although this isn't to say that Vegeta wouldn't delve into the same realm of power. He would train under Whis just like Goku, and both would achieve a better mastery over God Ki. However, the way they choose to go about using it is very different. Goku chooses to channel it through transformations, such as Super Saiyan God, and eventually even Blue after he masters his regular God form enough to put Super Saiyan on top. Although Vegeta decides to go down his own path of power, rather than gaining the same forms Goku does, he sticks with Super Saiyan 4. Since, well, although the power God in Blue gives you is undeniable, Vegeta believes he can further evolve the Super Saiyan 4 form, and keeping up with the traditional transformations is more in line with what a prince should do. It all really boils down to his pride and his ego. He might have come a long way since the old, arrogant prince, however he does still have a lot of self-worth, and thus chooses to go down his own path, rather than just following what Kakarot's doing. It also certainly doesn't hurt that having God Ki in his base form means all of his other transformations are boosted, and thus Super Saiyan God is able to keep up with the other godly transformations. Although it does still sort of fall behind Super Saiyan Blue, but only by a little bit, and Vegeta can tell there's something beyond regular Super Saiyan 4, so he'll continue trying to push that. Although until then, Goku does have a slight lead. Although, as Beerus and Whis chow down on some pizza watching Goku and Vegeta train, Whis would get an alert on his staff. A call from Bulma. Apparently, Frieza's been revived and they need to get to Earth quick. So immediately, Whis calls over Goku and Vegeta, asking if they want to head back to Earth. Although it might take a little while, so there's no guarantee that Frieza won't have already destroyed the planet. But Goku says it's no problem, he'll use instant transmission to get there, and even though he has to hold hands with Vegeta, something the prince despises, they're able to get to Earth in only a couple of seconds. Yes, it is instant transmission, however it does take Goku a couple of seconds to lock on to everybody's power levels, but after he does, they get there in a flash, and after staring down Frieza, Goku calls dibs. Vegeta tries to argue against this, but after holding a competition of rock, paper, scissors, Goku wins and he gets to be the one to fight against Frieza first. After all, the Emperor would rather fight Goku than warm up with Vegeta. The prince snarls, but there's no real point to getting too upset over it. After all, Vegeta does still get to see Goku pound Frieza 2 ways to Sunday. That sounded wrong, but you know what I mean. Goku would transform into Super Saiyan and Frieza shocked. This is a power he's never seen before, although I doubt that having not seen Super Saiyan would deter Frieza from training for those 4 months. So after unveiling his golden form, Goku needs to amp it to blue. But even this doesn't appear to be enough. For whatever reason, Frieza is even stronger than Goku now, even using Super Saiyan Blue, which is crazy to think about. However, the Saiyan raised on Earth does still get the advantage after realizing that Frieza's losing stamina and quick. He might have been able to achieve an incredible level of power, however he did not master it. After all, maintaining that power is leagues more important than just obtaining it. So Goku beats the crap out of Frieza and tells him to leave with his life. However, the Emperor refuses. He's already been humiliated once today and he will not leave with his tail tucked between his legs. So he begins pounding on the ground, and before he gets the chance to destroy the planet, Goku wipes him out with a single Kamehameha. And then the group would take care of the rest of Frieza's goons, ensuring that the Emperor will not come back again, at least not without their knowledge. And with that victory, the Earth returns to peace. However, on Beerus' planet, one day while Goku and Vegeta are training, they would be met with a surprising new duo, that of Champa and Vados. It looks like the off-brand version of Beerus and Whis. Although neither of them say this, because although his appearance might say otherwise, Champa is actually almost as strong as his brother. meaning that they don't want to get on his bad side. The two gods of destruction would meet up and start conversing, with their angels gossiping in the same bubbly way they always do. However, Beerus and Chomp are not so jovial, as they have a bit of a grudge. After all, Chomp only came here to brag about how tasty these eggs in his universe were, showing that his universe truly has the better delicacies. But Beerus doesn't really care, because he knows whatever Champa has compares little to Earth. I mean, we have cup noodles, that's like the pinnacle of evolution right there. And Beerus would show this off by grabbing a couple of dishes that Goku and Vegeta had brought in exchange for training. And Champa is absolutely bewildered by this. The food, it's so good. Why has he never went to the Earth in his universe? Vados would then scan Universe 6 and find out that they did have an Earth at one point, however currently they don't. The mortals on his Earth apparently caused their own destruction, which sadly is a little too real. Although Champa has an idea. Why not have a friendly competition? A sparring match, although not between the two of them specifically, rather between the strongest mortals in their universes. And although this does sound fun, Beerus asks about the catch. There's always a catch with his brother. And Champa responds that they could have the winner get the Earth from Universe 7, which is a pretty cruddy prize for Beerus since he already has it. But there's more. Whoever wins gets the Super Dragon Balls. As for Champa, if he wins, he'll use them to wish the Earth into his universe. But if Beerus gets them, he can wish for whatever he wants. An endless supply of cup noodles, perhaps. It really doesn't matter. Anything his heart desires, he could obtain with a single wish. And this is definitely tempting for Beerus, so he agrees. And with the tournament set, Goku and Vegeta feel a little betrayed. After all, this is their homeworld being put on the line here. But after all, they really have no say in it. So they just decide to go find fighters. The first two spots are reserved for them since they are training under the gods after all, and there'd be no Monaka since both of them are already plenty motivated. As for the third spot, I think it'd probably go to Gohan, since he's definitely cut up his training and he can just reschedule whatever conference he had that day. He's already made a pretty good balance between regular life and training, so he'd probably be able to find an excuse as to why he can't attend that meeting, or as to why he needs to reschedule for another date. As for the fourth member, it'd definitely be Piccolo, who had not only been training alongside Gohan, but also continuing to spar with Android 17, who is an excellent fifth pick. And although I usually like to just rush past this arc in most of my series, I feel like there is a bit of fun we can have with it. Although I will be changing the lineup, that way it's not just Goku versus whoever in Universe 6. Starting off, we'll have Android 17 versus Botamo, which is a pretty interesting matchup. The former will never run out of energy, however, the latter will never be affected by any of his attacks, because even though Android 17 is incredibly powerful, Botamo has a weird ability. He can absorb pretty much any damage, and depending on your continuity, either send it to an alternate reality, or just absorb it no problem. Either way, nothing the android does is going to affect the Universe 6 Pooh Bear, leading to 17 utilizing a rapid-fire ki blast from his outstretched hand to knock Botamo many yards back, before then ringing him out and having 17 be declared the winner. The next fight is up against Magetta, Robot versus Robot, except Android 17 is a bit more versatile than the big lug from Universe 6. Sure, the big guy's strong and hard to move, but 17 would be able to outpace him and make sure that none of Magetta's attacks would land, although there's not really much that 17 can actually do against Magetta, so instead he resorts to name-calling out of frustration. However, this seems to be the most effective thing he could have done. Getting mad at the own and effectiveness of his attacks, Android 17 would call Magetta a big useless hunk of metal, and although this is relatively tame compared to other things said in the series, looking at you, Gohan, Magetta would still take major offense to this, and getting all sad and squeamish, he would get out of the ring and ring himself out. As for 17, he would decide to bow out as well, since he's already knocked out 2 of Universe 6's members and he doesn't really feel like fighting anymore. Those last 2 battles already took a lot out of him, so he's gonna stick to the sidelines. Piccolo would volunteer to go up against the next opponent, this time being Frost, who is incredibly powerful. Especially for a member of Frieza's race, he is pretty dang strong. In fact, he's almost as strong as Frieza himself was in the last arc, just without a golden form. If he had that, then he'd definitely be able to beat the Namekian, but without it, Piccolo's able to make some major headway. Although Frost does have a secret up his sleeve, or on his wrist. As Piccolo is about to hit him with a special beam cannon, the Frost Demon utilizes a needle hidden inside of his arm to poison Piccolo, causing him to go limp and not be able to do really anything further. Although it seemed as if it was just the Namekian getting exhausted, so Frost is still in for the next round, except Jocko, who is in the stands, is still mighty suspicious. Vegeta is the one up to fight against Frost in the next round, and he doesn't hold anything back. He doesn't know about the poison needle, but honestly he doesn't trust anybody that looks like Frieza. So he enters the fight using Super Saiyan 2 and is able to pummel Frost, then kicking him to the outskirts of the arena, getting a ring out and securing his team another W. The next match is between Vegeta and Kaba, a Saiyan from Universe 6, which is pretty interesting, since really Vegeta hasn't met with many other Saiyans in years, with the obvious exception of the ones raised on Earth, so getting to meet a full-blooded true Saiyan once again is a nice breath of fresh air. However, he's a little disappointed. He doesn't see them as the same sort of battle-hungry tyrant that they used to be, and that's a bit jarring. Although, don't get me wrong, Vegeta isn't disappointed in the way that Universe 6 Saiyans went. It's just a little strange. Although something Vegeta is disappointed in is the fact that Kaba can't even go Super Saiyan. Base to base, Kaba is stronger than any other Saiyan that's ever lived, with the only exceptions being Kakarot and himself. So why can't Kaba just use Super Saiyan? Hell, he should be at Super Saiyan 4 by now, yet he hasn't even reached the initial Super Saiyan stage. What's up with that? So Vegeta tries to coach him into using it, although not in any sort of traditional means. Although after beating the crap out of Kaba, he would actually try and give up, to which Vegeta has a surprising response.
If you quit on me, I will kill you.
Everyone there is stunned, although Vegeta doesn't stop there. He says that if Kaba doesn't find a way to push him, not only will he kill the Saiyan, he'll go find his homeworld. He'll find Sadala and destroy it, but not before killing each and every last one of Kaba's family personally. Everyone that the young Saiyan has ever loved or even seen will die by Vegeta's own hands if Kaba doesn't provide at least a slight challenge. And with a sudden boost of strength, Kaba breaks free of Vegeta's grasp, before then launching back a couple of feet to gain some more distance, then shouting out to the high heavens that he won't let Vegeta or anyone near his family. Then with a primal beastly roar, he turns into the legendary Super Saiyan. The prince then lets off a slight smirk as he apologizes for doing what he needed to in order to trigger the transformation. It might have seemed a bit harsh in the moment, but after all, it did yield the results that Vegeta wanted. Kaba is now a Super Saiyan. The Universe 6 warrior looks down at his hands before peering around to the aura surrounding him. He's enveloped in a glowing golden light as his power has increased beyond anything Kaba could have imagined it would ever reach. He begins to thank Vegeta for helping him to reach this level of power. However, before the words can even escape his mouth, suddenly he feels a gut-wrenching pain inside of his stomach. He looks down to see Vegeta standing there with his arm outstretched, leaning into Kaba's stomach. He's reached a transformation that Kaba can only dream of, a power unlike anything the young Saiyan has ever felt before. He was utilizing Super Saiyan 4, demonstrating to Kaba that there is always a new realm of power to reach for. He has to break his limits over and over again if he ever wants to reach the same level of power that Vegeta has obtained. But with Kaba unconscious, that match is finished, and now it's Hit's turn to face off against Universe 7. Vegeta would enter the fight with Super Saiyan 4, although understanding that Saiyans have a unique way of breaking their limits, Hit decides to end things quick rather than playing around. Using a single precise attack to one of Vegeta's pressure points, the Saiyan Prince would be rendered nearly unconscious after only one attack. But then Hit lands a second, a third, and a fourth, meaning that Vegeta is currently out for the count. Although Gohan volunteers to enter into the fight before his father, seeing as it would give Goku a better chance to survey Hit's abilities, and although Gohan knows he won't be able to win, he wants to make sure that his father after him can. And surprising to everybody there, Gohan enters the fight using Super Saiyan 4. He understands that anything short would be taken out easy peasy by the assassin, so he decides to go all out from the start. And nobody suspected Gohan would be able to access this transformation, although it does kind of make sense. He already had all the prerequisites for it, and with a couple more years of training under his belt, Gohan could definitely achieve it. The only real question is, what could he do with it against Hit? Well, very little. But already understanding how Hit's time skip works at least a little after seeing Vegeta's fight, if you can even call it that, Gohan is able to last a little longer than the Saiyan Prince, even if he is much weaker and much less experienced with the transformation. Although with Gohan defeated, Goku would step in to take his place, and entering the fight with Super Saiyan God, he is able to keep pace with the two fighters before him. And since he now has a pretty adept understanding of what all Hit can do, Goku's able to last the just Super Saiyan God pretty dang long, but he does recognize he'll need to amp it up if he doesn't wish to sustain some pretty serious injuries early on. So with a glistening aura and a vibrant light, Goku demonstrates Super Saiyan Blue for the first time in this series, and with more power than Vegeta and more experience than either of the two fighters before him, Goku is able to majorly outclass Hit, at least in the beginning, but the assassin is able to adapt and overcome Goku's incredible might. The time skip was a very powerful tool, and after only a little bit of evolution with the technique, Hit would be able to overcome everything that Goku throws at him, although that is until the Saiyan demonstrates Kaioken on top of Blue. He had been trying to mix Kaioken with Super Saiyan forms for quite some time now. This was just the perfect opportunity. Not only did he have Super Saiyan Blue mastered to a degree where he believed he could do it, but Hit was pushing him to where if he didn't, then he probably would have lost. And now, using the two powers in tandem, Goku is able to overcome the time skip. And with the amount of stamina that Hit had lost from the previous two fights, Goku is able to pull out a victory. Everyone prepares to head home, Beerus chanting at his victory and Champa sulking at his loss. However, before they get the chance to leave, a terrifying new entity arrives in the middle of the arena. It was none other than Zeno-sama himself, the Omni King of the 12 universes and the boss to Champa and Beerus. Everybody is absolutely terrified, with the only exception being Goku, who walks over and treats Zeno like another kind of guy. He walks over and offers the Omni King a handshake, and when the being above all reciprocates, Goku begins shaking him in the air, up and down and up and down. Obviously, Champa and Beerus are damn near having heart attacks. Although, thankfully, Zeno enjoys this, and decides to let everybody off without anybody dying, or being, completely erased from existence. But Zeno wasn't the only god who was watching the tournament go down. No, another more sinister deity saw everything occur, and wasn't too fond of the fighters participating, or even the gods watching over. This was, of course, Zamasu. Not only did he hate mortals, he also despised the gods who so callously disregarded their destructive nature. In this moment, he vows to kill every single mortal he can get his hands on, and maybe even those in other timelines.